Judgment Day. And once again, it's a movie that I saw, it was made back in 1991. And I think I saw it maybe once or twice between now and then. And honestly, it was a movie that when I saw it at that time, I didn't really think it was all of that. As a matter of fact, I thought it was kind of boring. But that was 91, that was almost 31 years ago. And between then and now, I have done much growing in many ways. And I have learned to look at movies in a deeper way, not just as a service, but to look for deeper meanings in the movies. And I have had master teachers that I have watched and learned from over the years who taught me to think on that level. To go back and look at some of these things that in the past I had a more mundane understanding of, even though I may have seen things in it to a particular degree, but not to the degree that definitely I see things differently now. And I can see the deeper meaning and the most likely the intent of what was being put into the movies when they were being made, the intentions and the ideas that went into the making of these movies. And so with Terminator 2 Judgment Day, it's one of those doomsday prophecy type movies. And in this one, like many of them that I have encountered, it's running with the same theme of the world being destroyed by some nuclear reactor. In this particular movie, they make it seem like it would be a nuclear reactor that will go off, and the fiery heat of the nuclear force would destroy the world. So the main idea is that it's going to be a fiery force that destroys the world. And the video that I did before the last one that I posted about crystals, the one before that one, I speak about I speak about the sun and the fiery forces that may possibly be a world-ending power that takes place. And as we know, the world is supposed to be getting hotter because of the sun getting closer to the earth. And we hear a lot about the concerns about, well, they call it, they say that it's global warming, their fear of global warming and the effects to, I guess, mankind upon the earth. They say humanity, but I would more specifically say mankind. I would use that term. But anyway, in the movie, so they fear this nuclear force destroying the world, and they talk about some information that was given from the future by somebody that had to come back to the past and remind themselves about what was going to happen, and as a younger person, and this younger person would have to be the key to stopping this nuclear force, and those who were doing something that was creating a chip with all of this memory to some past knowledge or something that would be the key or the reason that this nuclear reaction would take place and destroy the world. And so basically we have in this Terminator movie, we have two Terminators. We have the second Terminator, who we know as Arnold Schwarzenegger, who played the first Terminator in the Terminator series, but he wasn't actually the first Terminator. They speak of a Terminator that had been made before him. He actually was the second one, and at the time he was supposed to be the better version, or the more improved, new and improved version of the one before him. Now in the second movie, they have an even greater and more powerful one than him, that was made out of different materials, that was supposed to be stronger than him, had stronger regeneration powers and everything. And as a matter of fact, this one was made more like out of some type of silver, some type of silver, liquid silver type material. He was less robotic, because Arnold Schwarzenegger was made more like a robot, but the second Terminator was made more like the stuff that you would that's in what you call those, the what you take your temperature with, one of those, a thermometer, the silver stuff that's in the thermometer. He was made out of some material like that. So I guess some type of mercurial type of material, which made him more malleable and fluid and less able to be destroyed, except by one thing. And he could be destroyed even though heat gave him his power, but too much heat would destroy him. And now I know it's people out there that have seen this movie, because of course it was made over 30 years ago. But seeing it is one thing, but having a deeper understanding of what is being said in the movie is something else. And so from what I'm seeing, okay, the basis of the movie is the fear of the world being destroyed by a force that's so powerful. It's a force of fire that destroys the world. And so the main characters in the movie, their mission is to stop this from happening. Now, the key to this movie, first of all, you'll notice that both of the Terminators are wearing black outfits and have dark hair. There's one key to this fiery force in the movie. It has a connection to the fiery force, but you have to be able to discern what's really being said in the movie, because of course they're going to do some things that's just going to make it seem like some surface type stuff, like, oh, this is just an action movie, and oh, look at all the action, and oh, they just happen to be wearing these blacker than black outfits, and they just happen to have dark hair, and they just happen to be uh, acting like this or saying certain things like that or whatever. But if you really see, you see it's a reason that they are dressed a certain way, or they are acting in a certain manner, or made out of certain materials, etc., etc. So I'm just gonna put it like that. And I'm just gonna say these things in a certain way, but I'm gonna leave the gaps in between, because like they say about African drumming, like it's not actually the beats, the drumming itself, like the beats you hear, that is the main energy of the drumming, but it's the 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 parts in between the drumming is where the energy of drumming is really at. It's those pauses between the drumming where the real story and power lies in the drumming. So, between my words and what I'm telling you, the real keys and knowledge is in between, where I leave the gaps open for you to come in and discern what's being said here with the pieces I'm giving you, with the drumming, what you hear, but the inner, not so noticeable, not so apparent things that are not being said is where the real knowledge and information is, because I'm leaving it up to you to go within with what you're hearing from me to get what is being said here. This helps to train you to go within and to reach in and get the knowledge for yourself. I'm going to give you a certain amount of knowledge, but I'm going to leave the rest for you to figure out. Okay. Another very important key to what's really being said in the connection with this force, this fiery force. A real key moment in the movie is in the lab with the person that has the detonator in their hand. That person that has that detonator in their hand, and the reason they did it like that, and that it had to be this particular being, this particular person with that particular symbol or archetype, they were the one that had to be in this particular scene, is because that particular thing that happened connected with the detonator is connected with the being that's holding it. And the real key to this doomsday that they feared and how it would happen, and what you see happen once the detonator falls out of their hand, or their hand drops and the detonator goes off, and then what you see happen there, right? Well, what happens because this particular being has the detonator and then drops it. It's in their hands. The detonator is in their hands, and what happens afterwards is because of what's in their hands. The hands are a symbol of power. That means having the power in your hands. And that's all I'm going to say about this movie, but I wanted to relate that I watched it, and I'm noticing in these movies particular threads going on here, and they put these particular archetypes and in these unspoken fears and ideas and knowledge in these movies, and it's usually similar threads that go on in these movies. And so yeah, that's really interesting. And before I saw this movie a few days ago, and the reason I haven't said anything about it is because I'm kind of just marinating on it, letting it marinate in my mind and in my thoughts. But I watched another movie the other day called Solar Impact, and it had a similar theme about well, this one had the zombie theme in it. You know, the living dead going around biting people, attacking people, turning other people into zombies. And in this particular movie, Solar Impact, you're gonna notice that throughout the whole movie, it's gonna be something in that movie that's missing. You're gonna see a whole bunch of something else, but it's something in that movie in particular that you're not gonna see. Now, towards the beginning of the movie, there was one of the zombies that was ambiguous looking. You couldn't really tell, you know, uh, if this zombie was like all the other zombies and people in this place, because this zombie was kind of ambiguous looking. It could have been either or, and I don't mean sex. When I say it was ambiguous looking, it didn't have anything to do with its sex, but the way that it looked, uh, opposed to the rest of the, or in conjunction or in parallel with the rest of the zombies and people in the movie. You're gonna notice in the movie that you're gonna see a whole lot of one type of thing, but it's one particular type of uh, thing. I'm gonna put it like that. That you're not gonna see in this movie, and there's a real key to the movie. You're gonna see a whole lot of things that's similar and that's alike in the movie, but with that, it's something that's missing in the movie that you're not gonna see in this movie at all. Now, like I said, one of the zombies was ambiguous looking, and once again, I'm not talking about sex. It could have been either or, but because it was a zombie, you know, and they're all ashen and pale looking, you couldn't really tell. But it could have been, but if it was, if it had been different from the rest of the zombies before they were turned into zombies, at this point you may not really be able to tell because it had been zombified. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. But other than that, that's one of the main keys in the movie. All the zombies and beings in that particular place were all alike. So that's a key to that movie. And it is what it is. The people that made the movie made it like that. And so that's what they want you to know. And yeah, and with that, at the beginning, once again, the name of the movie was Solar Impact. So another movie about a fiery force having something to do with destruction on Earth. And there was an impact that happened, and then all of a sudden this something came from out of the cosmos or whatever, or some type of flare, a solar flare, yeah, had happened. And then from the solar flare, it caused some kind of um, reaction or something. And what fell away from the sun or whatever fell to the earth. But it didn't, I don't think this happened all over the earth. It just happened in some parts of the earth. And in this particular place, and you're gonna have to pay attention because where they had the movie placed at, where everything was supposed to be happening in the movie, was a particular place. And once again, I don't think this solar impact affected the entire earth, just certain parts of the earth. Excuse me, just certain parts of the earth. So you're gonna have to pay attention to that as well. And from this solar impact, this is what was turning the people into zombies. And you're gonna notice you have to pay attention to what happens to them once the solar impact happens and it hits them. You're gonna have to notice key things like how they start turning, what they look like, what they start doing, things of that nature. So I'm trying to give you enough information without having to give spoiler alerts. And so that I won't, I'm trying to not, even though it's fun to be able to put the scenes in my videos, but then all of a sudden be like, oh well, copyright this and copyright that. So I'm trying to give enough information without giving spoiler alerts, but enough for you to pay attention so that if and when you go look at the movies, you can take what I'm saying and be like, oh, I gave you just enough, and then it'll start coming up out of you. You'll be like, oh, okay, I see. Oh, okay. Oh, I see what's going on, yada, yada, yada. And then you'll come up with the information yourself. You see, this is me sharing with you, but not being so selfish that I gotta tell you everything. I'm the one that know everything. I know what I know. And that's what I know. I just know what I know. And I see what I see and I hear what I hear. But I'm being selfless enough to not spoil it for you and to give you something to do. Because like one of my master teachers said, don't follow me. Don't follow me nowhere. I'm still trying to pay my bills in this bitch. I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to get this, that, and the other, just like you. But I'm trying to do it in a way, and I'm not saying this about anybody else. I'm just saying I'm trying to do things in my way where I can be ethical and not throw somebody else up under the bus to get it. I'm trying to be as real as I can. And I'm trying to love myself the best that I can. And I'm trying to love as many people as I can by being selfless, by being honorable, by being ethical. But at the same time, I ain't no fucking fool either. And I'm going to do what I got to do too. I'm just going to do my best to avoid doing you in while I do. Have mercy. Shamalama ding dong. I'm your mama. But anyway, so yeah, I wanted to share this with you. And I was, like I said, I saw Solar Impact first, but I really had to kind of let it sink in. Not because I didn't know what was going on or whatever once I started looking at it, but I just needed it to marinate over time so that I could know how to bring it across to you in a way where I could share just enough, but not too much. And then you could go look at it yourself, and then you could be like, oh shit. And yeah, it's really a trip. I do suggest you watch it. And if you have watched the theme movie that I came on here talking about, which would be Terminator 2 Judgment Day, and you never really just looked at it with, like, you looked at it more like it was just action, a movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger and some people you knew or heard about over time, and because somebody had said something about it, or you just was looking for something to do that day, you might want to go back and look at it again with the information I'm dropping here, and then really look at it to see it with in a different light, with the light of knowledge, with the heat of that solar intelligence, opening your third eye, which is really your first eye. But people have become, used to saying third eye, but it's really your first eye. Because before you got this fleshly body, you had that eye. You had that eye before you had your two physical eyes. So it's really your first eye. Dropping knowledge on you. There you go. But anyway, so yeah. So go check those two movies out and take what I'm saying here and then go into the movies and really, see what you get from it. So, with that being said, love, the light of knowledge, dark matter energy, self-love, self-care, and ascension. Ashe.